Hello everyone. Today we're going to be reading The Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Flea. So that's kind of like another version of The Three Little Pigs. So we're going to be reading this today. And then you can stop for now. So this is The Three Little Puppies and the Big Bad Flea by Ted Lish and Charles Jordan. Once upon a time, there were three little puppies who decided it was time to leave home. "Don't worry about cats," shouted Mama as they were leaving, "but watch out for the big bad flea." "Ha ha ha," laughed the three little puppies. "Who ever heard of a big bad flea?" So off they went to seek their fortunes. Soon they came to a duck farm. "I like my feather bed so much that I'm going to build my house out of duck feathers," said the first little puppy. The ducks were more than happy to give her a ton of duck feathers, and that's a lot of feathers, because a ton means 2,000 pounds. That would be a lot of feathers, because feathers don't weigh very much. So she set out happily to build a very fine duck feather house. The other two little puppies continued their journey and soon came to a nice forest with lots of leaves on the ground. If there are leaves on the ground, what season does it have to be? I wonder. "I like to play in the leaves so much that I'm going to build my house out of leaves," said the second little puppy. Well, the leaves were for the taking, so she gathered up a ton of them, and that's a lot of leaves too. So she set out happily to build a very fine leaf house. The third little puppy continued her journey and soon came to a cobbler's shop. Looking at the sign and looking at all the things around, even if we don't know what cobbler means, what do we think it means? What do cobblers make if we're looking at the pictures and all the things that they have? The cobbler just happened to be throwing away lots and lots of old shoes. A cobbler makes shoes and was more than happy to give them to the third little puppy. And what puppy doesn't like old shoes? So the third little puppy carried away tons and tons of old shoes and set out happily to build a very fine old shoe house. Each little puppy was enjoying her new house when along came the big bad flea. She just loved biting little puppies. Even big dogs would scatter and run when they saw the big bad flea coming. The first house she came to was the house made of duck feathers. She knew there was a puppy inside, so she knocked on the door and said, little puppy, I know you're in there. Open the door and let me come in." The first little puppy thought, "Now who can that be?" So she peeped through the little peephole and saw a gigantic flea. And of course, she looked even bigger through the peephole. "Yikes," said the first little puppy. "Mama wasn't kidding. You're not coming in here by all 50 hairs on my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," shouted the big bad flea. So she huffed and she puffed and she blew the house in. It was easy, even for a flea. Because what was it made out of? Feathers. And feathers are pretty easy to blow away. You practice huffing and puffing too. I bet even you could blow down a feather house. The first puppy just barely escaped with only a few painful bites on her backside and ran straight to the second puppy's leaf house. She told her sister all about the big bad flea. Oh dear, cried the second little puppy. "We should have listened to Mama." So they bolted the door and hid under the bed. Just then, the big bad flea began pounding on the door, shouting, little puppies, open the door and let me come in." "Not by all 100 hairs on our chinny chin chins," cried the very scared little puppies. So the first puppy had 50 hairs on her chin, but now they have 100. Oh, right, 50 plus 50, that's 100. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in, shouted the big bad flea. So she huffed, and she puffed, and she blew the house in, almost as easily as the duck feather house. The little puppies just barely escaped, with only a few painful bites on their backsides, and ran straight to the third puppy's old shoe house. Once inside, the terrified little puppies bolted the door and excitedly told the third puppy all about the big bad flea. Don't worry, said the third little puppy. No flea can blow this house down. Because, I think if you were trying to blow down a house made of shoes compared to a house made of feathers or leaves, it might be a little harder to blow down cement and shoes. That might be a little bit more difficult. We'll see if the flea can do it. But guess who came knocking at the door? Yep, it was none other than the big bad flea, shouting, little puppies, open the door and let me come in. Not by all 150 hairs on our chinny chin chins, answered the now brave little puppies. She's knocking, she's trying to come in. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, shouted the big bad flea. So she huffed and she puffed and she huffed and she puffed, but even the big bad flea couldn't blow down a house made of old shoes. Well, said the big bad flea to herself, I'm not going down the chimney and getting cooked in a pot like that dumb old wolf did. I'll just sneak in through the keyhole. So she climbed in through the keyhole and chased the three little puppies all around, biting them on their backside, biting them on the neck, biting them all over until they ran yelping and howling out the back door. The big bad flea liked her new old shoe house so much that she decided to stay there and raise a family. She had billions and billions of children. There were lots of old shoes for them to sleep in. Soon, all the little flea children left home and went looking for dogs, and they all found dogs and started bugging them. And they're still bugging them to this very day. As for the three little puppies, they learned a valuable lesson about listening to their mama and moved far, far away from the big, bad flea. So that was our book. I hope that you guys liked it. So now you guys are going to be doing some writing. You are going to write in 3 to 4 sentences how this book is similar to or different from the Three Little Pigs. I'm also going to include a link below to another video of the Three Little Pigs story. And then you can compare and contrast what details are the same, what details are different. Just like, are the characters in this exactly the same? Are they the same type of animal? You can compare and contrast, writing 3 to 4 sentences explaining how the stories are similar and how they are different. But just like when we do the rest of our writing, you need to use capital letters, you need to use punctuation, and you need to try your best. I can't wait to read your writing. Have a great day.